Hey, Steve Tullius here, and welcome to the Waitlist Workshops, Wowing Your Audiences. This is all about helping convert and sell in whatever type of presentation you are giving. And so now we're going to dive into this important topic because arguably the two most important elements of any talk are the introduction, the intro, and the close. And so so many times, in reviewing the presentations of our members, we've seen where our members have missed key elements in mastering the introduction, because if we don't capture the attention of the audience and build trust, credibility, and rapport in this critical moment, we've lost the opportunity for that person to actually engage, listen, and eventually say yes to your care and services at the end when we make that offer. So let's go ahead and dive into this. I'm going to share my screen here, and we'll dive in. So again, I've already mentioned this. The intro is absolutely the most important aspect of the beginning of any talk, and so but it's also one of the most important of the entire presentation. So there's four key elements of the introduction. Okay, here's the things that we have to do. We have to grab the audience's attention, and we do that by establishing relevance. That this topic that they came to listen and hear about is going to be relevant in their lives. We want to gather intelligence, because the best way to be able to sell anything, any idea, concept, product, service to anyone, is to gather intelligence, know who these people are, what do they need, what are their pressing desires, and then ultimately building trust, credibility, and rapport in you, the product or service, and the company. These are the things that people need to have in order to say yes to you at the end of the presentation. So, I call this wowing audiences because there's three basic things here. It's the who, handling objections, and the why. Okay, and the who is, number one, who are you? Obviously, you'd be surprised, but many times speakers miss this. They assume the audience knows who is speaking to them, and I've seen people completely just skip over this. Okay, so who are you? And then also, who are they, right? And so now when looking at this, this who, what I like to do is this. Okay, this who aspect, I like to briefly mention who I am and then dive into who they are. Okay, now it depends on the size of the audience, right? If this is a group of 100 people, then you're not going to do what I'm going to suggest next. Okay, but if you're in a group of 10 to 20 people, 25 people, 20 is typically the limit on this, and I'll explain another way to do this. But here's an example of what I would do. So, hey, welcome everybody. I'm Dr. Steve Tullius. This is my practice. I'm so grateful that you're here tonight so we can dive into this extremely important topic. And in just a moment, I'm going to be sharing a whole lot about me and my family and why this topic is so important to me and why I am compelled to speak on this topic. Now, notice I did a couple of things there. When my energy is high, I said who I was. This is my practice, wherever, if you're doing it inside of your office, and then why I feel compelled to speak on this important topic. So immediately I've shared who I am and given them some degree of importance around why I think this is an important topic. Now, what I then do is, before I do go ahead and share more about myself, I'd love to learn more about you and why you're here. I went through your forms already, and I have a good idea of why you're here tonight. However, I'd really love to hear, just briefly share your name, why you're here, and what you're hoping to gain from tonight's talk, so I can help tailor the talk to your needs. Right, and just so you know, it's totally safe here. And if you'd rather say pass, that's totally fine. Go ahead and feel free to do so. And then, so here's why I do this one. I want to know their names. I want to look at them. I want to see them. I want to hear their needs and their pain. And that way I can go back and one, connection, rapport, building trust, credibility, and rapport. I told them that I was going to share more about me and my family, so I just made it safe. That I was going to be sharing more, and then I told them why I wanted to learn more, because I wanted to help. I want to tailor the talk to their needs, right? And so I want them to share, so I can look at them in the eye every time. I make sure I stand closer to each person when they are speaking. I make sure that I'm able to maintain eye contact, listen to their name, and also why they're there. That way, during the talk, I can go back to that person and use their name, hopefully, right? We want to try to listen to their names and use them again. And then also when speaking on a particular topic, if you're giving a class on neurodevelopmental disorders and the person said they have a child with ADHD or learning challenges, well, when you get to a section where that is really relevant, then really looking at them and even mentioning them and say, hey, Mary, I bet that must be really challenging, right? When getting those reports from school where Johnny's not paying attention, or whatever it is. So that's number one, the who. Briefly share who you are, so that you're not skipping over that. And then finding out who they are. That's the gathering intelligence phase. You want to gather intelligence quickly. Now, if it's over 25 people, then what I would typically say is, hey, in the interest of time, I'd love to hear from just a few of you, why are you here? Because this really helps me. I've gone through all of your forms. I know why you've wanted to attend this class, but I'd love to hear just, from a few of you, why you're here and what you're hoping to gain tonight. Right. And then you can hear from a couple of people. The point of doing that too is helping everyone see that they're not alone too. And so that's part of that's the who. Now, the next piece is the objections, handling objections before they come up, because if you don't, then they are going to be in the minds of the public the entire time. So number one is your authority. What is your authority to even speak on this topic? Now, if you're a chiropractor, and you're speaking on neurodevelopmental disorders or the gut-brain connection or mental health challenges or pregnancy, birth, whatever, then many people in the public don't even have a positive impression about chiropractic in the first place, in terms of back, the back and neck and spine. Now we're asking them to see you as an authority on a topic that they may in their minds feel is totally out of your wheelhouse, and so this is huge that we handle this. So after you've gone through and you've asked people to share why they're there, then the next thing you should be doing is sharing a slide like this, where you're sharing some of your credentials, right? You're building the case for you as an expert. So if you have different things that you've done that are tied to the particular topic, if you're talking on pediatrics and you're an ICPA member, or you've gone through a diploma training of any sort, things like that, you want to share. Okay, now the next thing I do is I share this. I say, now the reason that we get the types of results that we get in this clinic, right? So now we can go on into the tonality of that, but the reason, right? Dramatic pause. The reason that we get the types of results in this clinic, right? All these amazing results that we see here, right? Now I'm stating it boldly, right? The reason that we get the types of results that we get in this clinic, because we have a different approach. You see, we have this really wild, crazy belief system, this thing known as salutogenesis, this approach that focuses on health, things that support health versus factors that cause disease. And so we have this really, really wild, crazy belief system that you're actually designed to be healthy and not sick. Now, how many of you share this really wild belief, this crazy belief that you're actually designed to be healthy and not sick, right? So I share it that way because I want to handle the objections there, right? They believe me. Some people, some of the spouses may have been dragged there to the class. Other people, may have come to the class not knowing that you're a chiropractor. And now you're speaking on this topic. And so you want to, one, be bold So you say the reason that we get the results that we get in this clinic, one, they're thinking, oh, what results? Now, if you have results on the wall, you can point to them, like, results like less seizures, more energy, less, speech, improved speech, things. The reason we get results like that is because we have a different approach, right? And we have this really wild, crazy belief. I use the words wild, crazy belief, and then ask them, like, how many of you have this same crazy belief? Right? You want to make it into a joke and make fun of it, because they're going to raise their hands and say, yeah, they believe that too. I say, yeah, isn't that crazy? That's a pretty wild belief system, right? In fact, some people, I don't know if you know this, but some people have even called chiropractors quacks, right? For having that belief. Have you guys heard that? Right? So now I'm bringing the elephants out of the corners, right? You've got to get these objections out into the forefront and hit it head on to show them that you're not afraid of it, and also to put it out there, right? And then you can say something to the effect of this. So, because here's the thing, the reason I bring that up is because, if the public has a positive impression about chiropractic, what do they usually typically think it's good for, right? I ask them that, and they're going to say, neck pain, back pain, alignments. I say, yeah, absolutely. And so tonight we're going to be sharing some really incredible case studies, information, things that may seem totally outside of what you've been accustomed to think chiropractic is. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is, just for a moment, put aside those beliefs and set them down. And if you'd like to take those beliefs about what chiropractic is with you later, you're more than welcome to do so, or we'll go ahead and discard those for you. We'd be happy to do that as well. All right, so you're making a light joke there. Now, the other thing the other objection is there, many times people are afraid that they're going to be sold, right? And so here's how we handle that. Here's how I suggest you handle that, is you have a slide like this where you have all these different books, the journal, images of the journals that the content that you're going to be sharing from is going to be coming to them from, to them from. So here's what I say, hey guys, in giving this class, so many times I realized it was like giving people information through a fire hose. And so, what I did was because I couldn't possibly fit all this information I have to share with you tonight on this topic, I put together some of my favorite books, books from experts in the field, various journal articles, all those different things I put together in a series of 19 emails that will come to you after the class. So you signed up tonight, we have your email. So starting tomorrow, you'll start to get some resources with these book titles and lots of great information that I couldn't possibly fit into just, in this hour-long class. And so that will be coming to you afterwards. And if you don't want those emails anytime, feel free to unsubscribe. You won't hurt my feelings. Now, the other thing is, I know that, when people come to classes like this, they're worried about, well, what am I going to be sold? Well, obviously, when people come to these classes, they want to know what it looks like to work with us, and I'll be sharing more on that later. However, I can tell you this, whether or not you ever come back into this office, the information we're going to be sharing tonight is so powerful and so impactful that if you applied it into your lives, it would make a massive transformation in the health of you or your loved one, whoever you're here to learn more about tonight. So sound fair? Right? So that's how you address the being sold objection, and also frame the later opportunity for them to actually work with you. So then it comes to the one more thing, right? Here's the concern or objection, is that this is just one more thing for them in their lives. They have so many other things that they're doing. This also ties to objection of you as an authority. And so what I typically, after I've shared that slide, then I share this one. And I say, when I do classes like this, I like to start with Fatima's story here. Okay, or whatever, whoever it is, share a testimonial that's going to help create a pattern interrupt in that thought process around what chiropractic is. So whatever topic, provide a testimonial that's applicable to the topic you're speaking on, that helps to serve as a pattern interrupt. For this particular testimony, this is a child who was not diagnosed as nonverbal autism and started to speak as a result of her chiropractic care. So it's a big story, and that's typically when I say, so, hey, guys, I realize there's so many things out there and so many different, so much information on this topic. And so, I shared Fatima's story because, sometimes it's just that one thing that can make all the difference, like it did for her. And so let's dive in, right? So that's how I address the objection of the one more thing, which takes us now next to the why. Why are they there? We talked about that already in terms of making sure you find out why they're there. That's the intelligence gathering that we talked about. Who are they? Why are they there? Okay. And then, just as important, or even potentially more important, you cannot miss this piece. Why are you there? Right? Why are you there? Why are you so compelled to be speaking on a Wednesday night or whatever day of the week, and taking an hour and a half out of your life away from your family? Why are you compelled to speak on this, right? And your tone and your energy better reflect that too, right? The words we use are important, but the tone is massively important. Our body language and our tone are the things that get across the true emotion of what we're trying to share. Okay, and so here's what I do. Especially with this particular topic. This is I have a very deep personal story regarding why I speak on neurodevelopmental disorders, or mental health, or even health in general. I can use my son's health challenges and my and his journey, in any health talk I give, right? And so you may not have that same type of story, but you better have some story that you've really developed. Why is this so important to you? Maybe if you're speaking on pediatrics and neurodevelopmental challenges, you've seen just the sheer number of kids impacted, and how that affects families and schools and the future of those children. And so I'm compelled to speak on this topic because I know just how dramatically it can impact the life of one child, an entire family unit, and what that means to that family unit and their future. And so that's why I do classes like this, and why, even though, hey, listen, I'm tired, I was working all day, but there's no other place than right here, right now, that I would rather be, to make sure that everyone here tonight has access to this information, so that you guys can take the next steps and massively improve the health of you and your family. Right? So make sure that you're sharing with the audiences. One, you're finding out why they're there. That's part of that intelligence gathering phase. And then you have to share why you are there, and why this is a part of your bigger mission of you and your practice. So that's the wowing audiences. Okay, if you do all those things, and don't miss any of those, you figure out who they are, you let them know who you are, you handle the objections, and then you let them know why you are there. Okay, and why it's so important. And so always remember this: out there in those great open spaces are multitudes seeking what you possess. They're there in your office or wherever your talk is for a reason. Don't take that lightly. Take all the energy and the responsibility of that and the bigness of that, and let it exude through your words and through your emotions. And if you're nervous at all, that's fine. Let them know, right? You let them know you're nervous. That further builds into your story about why you're compelled and why you have no other choice than to present on this topic. So thanks for watching. I hope that's helpful. Follow those steps and you will absolutely wow audiences and have their ears and their hearts, which is the key to getting them to say yes to your care. And if you have any questions on the topic, let me know. Always happy to jump into any questions you have and give you more info. All right, take care. Bye.